Hey everyone, Dan here. We are about 15 minutes before close on Friday, March 26th. If you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot and I appreciate it. If the audio kind of sucks today, my apologies. I'm moving, as a bunch of you know, and I'm just getting set up over the weekend, hopefully. So bear with me if the audio is a little bit challenging in this one. So I wanted to look at a few things that we've been watching over the past few weeks and sort of give some updates on them. So IPOE, which is set to merge with SoFi, is sort of doing something kind of interesting. So as you can see, it bottomed out here at 1511. This was yesterday, and it's starting a new channel, hopefully, encompassing this area right here. But instead of drawing the channel, I would prefer to do a trend line here and kind of show you what I'm hoping is going to happen is that we're looking at a pretty near-term flagging out where that new upward trend of higher lows is going to intersect with this previous trend of lower highs. So that should be about where they would meet, and that gives us an inflection point to look for on the 30-minute chart that would play out by about 11:30 in the morning on Monday. But actually, this includes the weekend. This chart doesn't skip weekends, so this will actually flag out definitely by Monday, but potentially we would see it happen in the pre-market Monday morning. So we'll keep an eye on that. See how that looks as the week progresses. But basically, I mean, the other good thing is, and we've seen this with a bunch of other of our plays in the past, is oftentimes they're flagging out at some previous price zone that we had identified. So this one would be at its lower price target of 1735, and so we can just watch that as Monday opens to see what it does above or below 1735. What we look for here is for it to continue to hold this bottom trendline support, and then once it hits this inflection point, continue to burst through it and follow this bottom trendline up as the days and weeks continue. And that, if it can do that and break this previous downward trend, then we could really confidently draw in this channel and say that it's already holding this channel through some pretty, I guess, strong or active resistance, which would be represented by having broken this previous downtrend. So I'll take a look at that on Monday and update, what that looks like, and we will go from there. HOFV, which had this crazy run-up, which it has done in the past, as you see here, and then it often gets beat down quite a bit after it has these run-ups, has basically retraced nearly to the point where it was when it started its run-up, and tried to do a push yesterday. I mean, it did push yesterday, but it tried to start essentially a new channel yesterday. Couldn't hold it, even starting in the after hours, and then has continued to just consolidate sideways since then. So, there's the potential for this to be forming like this sort of downtrend, which, if it continues to hold support on this 487, which we had drawn in when we first started tracking HOFV, we could look for it to potentially flag out there. This isn't as strong of a flag out pattern as what we see on IPOE, because HOFV doesn't have any higher lows working in its favor. All that it has is this sideways point of support. So, this one, I wouldn't be surprised if it pushes back down toward those yellow support zones, but the chart is holding up well. As you see, it bounced, right off of that yellow zone that we had identified way back here somewhere. And here's where we are today, for better or worse. But, obviously with this having a history, and a very recent history, of these big run-ups, that wouldn't be shocking to see. But just keep in mind that I think that all of those run-ups, certainly this one here, were based off of major news catalysts of the stock. And the challenging part is that it has these huge run-ups based on a catalyst, but then they fall off really quickly. This just took it not even 2 full days to get all the way back to almost where it was before it started this big push. And so that to me sort of says that the stock as a whole doesn't really have a ton of momentum that it can sustain without some clear catalyst. We'll put this in for sort of like something to look at in the future. So I'm going to extend it out a bit further. And let's put it in like, I don't know, orange. There's maybe a longer term higher lows trend presenting itself, but it's going to need to prove that out a couple of more times before we can say if that's really the case or not. Skills, which we looked at a few weeks back, has gotten beaten down pretty hard since we looked at it. In that video, we were looking to see if it could get to 35, which if it could, at this point, would nearly double, what it had done, from the price that it's at, or was at earlier today. So, not looking great at the moment. What you could be looking at here is, if this double bottom holds as a trend reversal line, that would be something to look at. But otherwise, it's caught, I don't know if this will quite make a clean channel, but it's caught pretty dramatically in this downward. Yeah, it's not really going to do a channel very well, but it's caught pretty dramatically in this downward trend, which we could just say is being pushed down essentially by this here. So your best hope would be that this holds at this like 1767, and that gives this essentially an opportunity to flag out at that point if it intersects there in the near future. So that's what I'd be looking for. That's sort of the best case at this point with skills, but yeah, it's just having a really, really hard time maintaining momentum. But there's a lot of downward pressure in the market as a whole, so it's having an sort of outsized impact on these growth stocks. So, all right, well, I hope you all had a good week, and next week should start to be a little smoother on my end as we unload and unpack and get back to normal life. But thank you for bearing with me throughout the move. I've been a little slow on Twitter. I've continued to put the videos here, but I appreciate it nonetheless. So thanks for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.